All right, our last set of notes for Unit 1. We have transformation compositions, and what we see here is this performing more than one transformation to a pre-image. So we're going to wind up, you see, we've got H, H prime, H double prime. So that's where we have multiple different things going on here. So let's just jump straight into it. We are going to start looking at our rules, applying our rules here. From H to H prime, I to I prime, J to J prime, K to K prime, this is what we're going to be doing. We are going to do a translation, okay, translate it, x minus 4, which tells us we're going to go left 4 on a graph, and y plus 2, which means up 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the minus 4 and plus 2. So we're going to take that 3, the x-coordinate, and we're going to subtract 4, and we're going to find out that we have a negative 1. And then that y-coordinate, we want to add 2. So we're going to add 2 to that. 2 plus 2 will give us 4. So here's where H prime is going to be. Okay? Next, I and I prime. Again, we're going to subtract 4 from the x, your new x-coordinate. Negative 2 minus 4 is going to give you negative 6. And then we have our y is 2. We're going to add 2 to it, like it tells us right here. And we're going to have 2. Sorry, it's 4. There's too many 2's. Same thing with J. Subtract the 4 from X, add the 2 to Y. We're going to come out with that negative 6. Negative 2 plus 2 is going to get us to 0. Okay? Last one, subtract 4 from the X, add 2 to the Y. 2 minus 4 is going to give us a negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2, which we just had over here, gave us that 0. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use 2 different color highlighters because we need to see something. The first thing we did was we translated. Now we're going to reflect over y equals x. So we're doing translation and then we're going to do a reflection. When we look at our rules, we remember that reflecting over y equals x is just going to be the rule xy goes to yx. All we're doing is switching the 2 coordinates around. So here I'm going to take my negative 1, 4. I'm going to switch those 2 around. H double prime is going to be at 4, negative 1. Okay, all I did was swap them around. Easy one. I like this one. So I double prime, let's switch these around. We'll have 4, negative 6. Over here, J double prime, when we switch J prime around, we'll have 0, 6. K double prime, switch them around, we have 0, negative 2. We're going to come back to HIJK double prime in a moment. What I want to look at, number 2, we're going to be performing the exact same things, just in a different order now. Okay, there's a reason for this. Here, we're first going to, and I'm going to match my colors, reflect over the y equals x. I used my pink highlighter. Reflect over y equals x. Then I'm going to translate according to that same rule of subtracting 4 from the x, adding 2 to the y. So first things first, we've got the same rule right here. We've got x, y. All we're doing is switching them around. So here, we'll go ahead and switch these. And we're going to get 2, 3. I prime, switch them around. We now have a positive 2, negative 2. J prime, switch them around. Oh, well, it's the same thing either way. That's pretty cool. K prime, switch them around. We're going to have negative 2, positive 2. All right? So now let's go and do our translation. We're going to add and subtract. So here, we're going to, as it says here, x minus 4, so we're subtracting 4 from the x, y plus 2. When we subtract 2 minus 4, we get that negative 2. 3 plus 2, nice and easy, is a 5. I double prime, subtract the 4, add the 2. Subtracting 4 from the x, again, we already had that, we had a negative 2. And then negative 2 plus 2 brings us to 0. J double prime, subtract 4 from our x, add 2 to our y. Negative 2 minus 4 more gives us a negative 6. That negative 2 plus 2, like we had just right here, brings us back to 0. K double prime. Subtract 4 from the x, add 2 to the y. Again, we already had negative 2 minus 4. Found out that was negative 6. And then 2 plus 2 is going to give us, everybody should know that one, 4. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to compare. We did the exact same two transformations. The difference is we did them in a different order. And I want you to see how H double prime, I double prime, J double prime, and K double prime are all different. What this tells us is it is extremely important that you make sure you go in the correct order. So what we see here is, I'm putting all caps and highlighting because it's extremely important. Order matters. You can't make up your own order. You have to go, sorry it's being so sloppy, you have to go in the order that they give you. Very, very important. Order matters. Right? So let's take a look at our last one. We are going to have a triple prime in here. Remember that we're going to have to make sure that we're going in the correct order here. First things first, we're going to subtract 4. This time we're adding 3, so it changed up a little bit. So let's subtract 4 from the x, add 3 to the y. We're going to wind up with 2, 0. U, we're going to subtract 4 from the x, add 3 to the y. Stuck on the other ones. 3 to the y. 8 minus 4 gives us 4. Negative 5, we're only adding 3 to it, so we're going to end up at negative 2. V to v prime, subtract 4 from the x, add 3 to the y. 7 minus 4 is going to give us 3. Negative 7, we're only adding 3 to it. We're going to wind up at negative 4. W to w prime, we're going to subtract the 4 from the x, add 3 to the y. 5 minus 4, we should all know is 1. Negative 7 plus 3 we just had here came out to a negative 4. Okay? So that's going to be our translating here. Next, we're going to reflect over the y equals x. Remember that this is just simply, we're just going to rewrite it so we're getting used to the rules. Just switch them around. So switch these around for t double prime, 0, 2. For u double prime, switch them. We got a negative 2, 4. V double prime should be at negative 4, 3. And w double prime, negative 4, 1. We're going to bring in a third translation, and we're going to rotate the figure 180 degrees. So when we look at the 180 degree rule here, let's see what color to use. We're going from x, y. All we're doing is we're just changing the sign of x and y. Okay? We need to remember this just means negate. Okay? Which means change the sign. Make sure you pause so you can get all that written in there. So when we take a look at t double prime, well, 0, there is no change in the sign, just 0. The positive 2 is going to turn into a negative 2. So again, all we're doing is just changing the signs. We're not switching them around or anything. U double prime, my negative 2 is going to turn to a positive 2. My positive 4 turns to a negative 4. V triple prime, I think I was saying double prime, sorry. V triple prime, my negative 4 turns to a positive 4. My positive 3 turns to a negative 3. Then W triple prime, my negative 4 turns to a positive 4. Positive 1 turns to a negative 1. And the end.